Hi, welcome to the Week 4 edition of the Daily Record High School Football Insider. We're coming to you from the great Wayne County Fair. I'm sports editor Aaron Dorksen along with Mike Plant. Before we take a look at this week's games, Mike, let's take a look back at last week, Week 3. I covered a very memorable shootout. Chagrin Falls defeated Worcester 56-42. Over 1,100 yards passing, but still it was a great showing by Worcester and should give them some momentum headed into this week's game against Ashland. A couple other games that really stood out. Norwayne rolls to 3-0 with a big win over Western Reserve. They're now the last unbeaten team in the Wayne County Athletic League. Hillsdale suffered a tough 1-point loss to Loudonville, and Northwestern fell at home against Mogador.
Aaron, this is the 163rd Wayne County Fair. We were going to shoot a segment over in the pig barn, but they got a little bit nervous when we started talking about football. So we're here in the grandstands waiting on the tractor pull, or the truck pull I think is tonight. But the Orville Red Riders went on the road to Copley last week, fell behind big early and made a nice comeback that came up a little bit short against the Indians. Triway, I was out at Triway last week where they shut out the Waynedale Golden Bears 24-0, looked pretty good doing it, Aaron. And finally, West Holmes also improved to 3-0 with a big victory over the Coshocton Redskins.
Well, that's a quick look back at last week. We'll come back after break. We'll talk about the Week 4 matchups. Just some of the interesting people and sights of the Wayne County Fair. Mark Momchilov, Triway alum, picking on the banjo here.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Sorry about the brain lock there. Welcome back to the Daily Record High School Football Insider from the great Wayne County Fair. Mike, we entered league play this week in the Ohio Cardinal Conference. I don't know that we know that much more about the teams. There are 3 weeks of non-league play. Everybody's 0-0, and it would still be hard to pick out who the favorites are, but we'll know a lot more after Friday. Worcester hosts Ashland. They've won the most league titles since the league debuted. That should be an interesting game. Really show you where Worcester's at. West Holmes is undefeated. They're going to host an undefeated Mansfield-Madison team down at West Holmes. And Orville will go on the road to Lexington.
Yeah, Aaron, like you said, it's really a new start. There's a couple teams in the Wayne County Athletic League that have yet to win this year. Waynedale coach Matt Zerker told me the other day that, hey, everybody starts fresh in Week 4. Of course, in the Wayne County League, Norwayne is the only undefeated team, the defending Division 4 state champs. Look like they're rolling into league play. And in the Principal's Athletic Conference, Triway is one of 2 teams that's 2-1. Everyone else, the other 6 teams, are all 1-2. So that looks again like a league race that's going to start Friday, but it's not going to be decided until Week 10. When we come back, we'll take a look at this Friday's game back here at the great Wayne County Fair.
Welcome back to the Daily Record High School Football Insider. We have a special guest, Bob, here. Hopefully he cooperates. He's owned by Brian Sinnett and the Hines Sinnett Belgians in Worcester.
Bob's giving me a dirty eye too. But,
now, none of the high school football linemen that we cover are quite as big as Bob. And
we better start.
So.
Look at him looking at me.
Okay.
Bob, I like you.
So come out to the Wayne County Fair, and then on Friday we know that most of the people in our area will be at high school football games. The one that's really catching a lot of attention is Ashland at Worcester. Mike, what a high-flying passing attack in that game. We'll have Tyson Vogel of Ashland. And
when Bob gets his back to me, I get a little nervous. So.
All right, Mike, we feel a little bit safer. Bob is back on the bench. He weighs 2,200 pounds.
I've never seen a horse that big ever, and he was giving me the eye. And, I'd rather do it this way.
Hey, we try new things sometimes, so we're just trying to show some of the scenery of the fair. But anyways, back to more calmer topics. I wouldn't think much is calmer than high school football, but after being near that 2,200-pound horse, let's start out talking about Ashland and Worcester, Mike. What a great passing attack we're going to see from both teams. Cam Doherty last week threw for 4 touchdown passes and over 400 yards. Tyson Vogel of Ashland actually has outdone him so far. He threw 5 touchdown passes, a school record 456 yards. That's really something at a school like Ashland. Worcester's going to have to stop some people on defense. Can they do that? That's one of the big keys. Worcester lost last week, Mike, up at Chagrin Falls, 56-42. The game I'll be going to in the OCC, Madison and West Holmes are both undefeated, 3-0, state ranked. I'll tell you what, the way some of those West Holmes guys are playing, I think guys like Keaton Lepla, a guard linebacker, I think when Keaton throws horseshoes, they're still attached to the horse. Like sometimes the power I've seen out of this guy, and Lane Perrone's running the ball like crazy. It's been a pretty good series. West Holmes leads at 5-4. I think we'll know a lot more where the OCC stands after we see these 2 matchups I just talked about.
Yeah, it's fitting that we're in the draft horse barn when we're talking about West Holmes and their big, powerful offensive line and their running game. Also in the OCC, Aaron, Orville will be making a trip over to Lexington. We touched a little bit in the first segment about Orville's loss last week, but it looked like in the second half of that game that they started to find a balance between run and pass. Kyle Lichty, the quarterback, had a good game, and one of their key players, Joel Zook, looks to return, at least on the defensive side of the ball this week from the Red Riders, as they look to get off to a fast start in the OCC. In the Wayne County Athletic League, Chippewa goes to Northwestern. The Huskies, of course, lost last week to Mogadore in a close ball game. Their defense couldn't get off the field and get their talented offensive players on the field. Dalton will go to Hillsdale. Hillsdale lost a heartbreaker at the final gun last week against Loudonville on a missed extra point. It may be critical for them to win out from here on in to get into the playoffs, so they're going to be ready for the Bulldogs, who had a nice shutout win over Canton-Timken last Friday for their first win of the year. Waynedale and Smithville will meet over at Smithy Stadium in a traditional Wayne County Athletic League meeting of powers. Waynedale, of course, looking for their first win of the year, looking to get going offensively. The Smithies picked up their first win of the year last year. And then finally, Norwayne at 3-0 will be going for their backyard rivalry against Rittman, and the Indians are 0-3, but they're going to look to make a little bit better showing than people would think.
It's always fun to see the Wayne County League get back into play. Not too often you see Waynedale and Smithville, one combined win between them. Norwayne still looks like the team to beat, but it'll be interesting to see how they do. I talked to Dalton coach Mike Doty. He said it was great that they got their first win, so it'll be interesting to see if they can keep things close with Hillsdale.
And in the Principal's Athletic Conference, real quick, Triway at 2-1 off of 2 big victories at Orville and a shutout win over Waynedale. We'll be going over to Fairless. Last week, the Titans added a little bit of a run dimension to their offense, which has been led by quarterback Parker Carmichael. Running back Luke Borman had almost 100 yards, and their defense stepped up and shut out the Golden Bears. They'll have to deal with Fairless's talented quarterback Hunter Wells. And CBCA, the preseason pack favorite, is only 1-2 this season. They'll be going to Tuslaw. In the Mid-Buckeye Conference, Loudonville looks to extend its unbeaten streak at Danville. Danville this year, Aaron, they're usually a power football team. They've gone to the spread offense like a lot of other high school teams have done. And finally, in the Suburban League, surprising Cloverleaf is 3-0, and they'll look to go to Nordonia.
Well, Mike, it's been a lot of fun to come out to the fair. We thank the people that helped us out, and we thank our producer director, Bobby Moore, and he's done a good job filling some big shoes of Daniel Starcher.
And you can read about Friday night's games in the Saturday Daily Record, and we hope you join us again next week here on the Daily Record's High School Football Insider. Thanks for watching.